What is up, guys? Welcome to Wild Rift University, and today we have an interesting topic that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about losing streaks, or aka losers queue, and then also how to get out of losers queue. All right, so it's some pretty interesting information here. So I think all of us run into moments where we get into loser's queue and we're like, dang, how the heck did I get here? Like right now, here, just looking at this right here. How the heck did I get here? Here's a game that I just played where I felt like I was doing decent, but, things went bad, okay? And it was just after 2 good wins, Here's another game, things went bad. Another game, things just went bad. Over and over and over and over again, things were bad. Then you have a couple games in between all those where, things just go right back to normal. And I kind of want to talk about the differences of how this happens, why this happens, and how to avoid this from happening. Because this happens to everybody. It doesn't matter how good you are or what rank you are, if you're challenger, if you're gold, everybody has this. And this is going to be a really honest video that you may not see on a lot of other channels. But I'm going to go over this because the point of Wild Rift University is to give you information that helps you improve as a player, so that way you can grow making the decisions that you need to in order to gain the rank that you're trying to achieve. And overcoming loser's queue, I think, is one of the biggest things that a lot of players struggle with. So we're going to kind of go over that and break that down. So first, how does loser's queue happen? A lot of times I feel like what happens is kind of exactly what you're seeing right here. I was playing, things were going fine, bunch of wins, win, one little loss, whatever, win. And then you have a loss where things looked okay. It's like, I played well, but we still ended up losing the game. And I don't know about you. I personally feel like for me, most of the games that I lose right before I get into loser's queue, I'm actually playing well. I'm not actually playing bad. And so because of that, I keep playing and I lose again, and I keep playing and I lose again, and I keep playing and I lose again. Okay. And I'm not even tilted. I'm not even mad. Because I'm playing well, but I'm still losing. But what you don't realize that kind of happens in your brain when things like happen, and then all of a sudden this happens. And as you see, my games get worse and worse and worse, and then there's a couple changes in there. But what basically happens is after you have a loss, you have a negative effect in your mind. Usually after the first time it happens, it's no big deal. Nobody expects to win every single game, and they realize that it happens. But then you get into another loss. And then, so now your brain gets a little bit more offended, and you're like, what's going on here? Like, I'm playing well. Why am I not winning? And then it happens again, and now you start to get frustrated. And I feel like there's 2 different types of people who get frustrated at the game, okay? Some people, they get frustrated at their teammates, and some people, they get frustrated at themselves, okay? The people who get frustrated at themselves typically grow more because they're trying to learn from their mistakes, as long as they get frustrated at themselves in a way that helps them learn versus in a way that's just self-mutilating. And people who typically get frustrated at their teammates are victim mentality type people, like, poor me, it's always my team's fault, it's never my fault. And with that type of mentality, you're never going to grow, you're never going to learn. So why am I talking about this? Because some of you might be saying, well, Thing One, you actually did a tilt video a little while, because this isn't a tilt video, but it is a tilt video. So I was kind of analyzing my games, and honestly, the week before the reset, and what is it now, week 1 or week 2 of the new season, I have kind of realized, I didn't realize I was tilted, but I have been tilted since the last week of the previous season till now. And I'm asking myself, why? You need to ask yourself, what's going on in your mind? And I'm going to break all that down for you as well. Why is this happening? So last season, I was examining it because I was like, last season I played so well. Like, I think I ended the season with like a 5.8 KDA. I ended the season with a 58% win rate. I hit Vanquisher 1, 172 points. I ended the season Grandmaster over 41 points as well. I can't remember exactly how many I was. I think I was like 43, 44, 45. I can't, maybe 46. I don't remember, but I was over 41 points, under 50 points. And I was like, why am I so frustrated? Like, I had a great season. Most people wish that they would have had a season like that. But I realized one of the things that was frustrating me at the end of the season, there's a couple things I did. So at the beginning of the season, I hit Grandmaster like within the first 2 weeks, I think. I can't remember, 2-3 weeks. And I was like, oh, I'm done with this. I'm going to go play Legend Q. And I played a ton of Legend Q. And then I made it up to Vanquisher 2 within like the first 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, I'm done with this. I'm just going to kind of mess around. And I just started messing around and trying new champions and playing ARAMs and playing PvP and casually playing ranked or casually playing other stuff. And I was like, oh, I'll hit Immortal later. Oh, I'll hit Challenger later. And then I realized I kind of hit a couple things where I get frustrated myself. So I was only like a couple games away from Challenger, and I was like, oh, I'll hit it later. And then by the time I actually came back to ranked, Challenger, you had to have like 80 points. And I was like, holy crap, I gotta have 80 points. Like, there's no way I can make it in time. So, I got really frustrated because my goal last season was to hit Challenger, and I didn't hit it. So I was a little frustrated with myself. And so I was like, whatever, fine, I'll just go for Immortal. I'm really close to Immortal. And then, I got all the way up to Immortal 2, then had a losing streak, and I fell all the way back down to Guardian 1, and then climbed all the way back up to Vanquisher 1, 100, and I think it was like 72 or 74 points. And I was like 2 games away from going to Immortal, and then went on a losing streak and lost that. And so like the 2 goals that I had before the season ended, I didn't get either of them. So I got super frustrated with myself. Then going into the new season, I ended up being super busy and wasn't able to really play much at all. And so all my friends got like a way higher rank than me right off the bat, and here I am still stuck in Emerald. So immediately just tilted that way. And then so going to look at this season so far, these are technically the worst stats I have ever had since this game has come out, ever. I've never played or had a win rate this low. Okay, and we're going to talk about this as well, because we're also going to talk about how do you actually measure improvement in the game. So really a lot of this game is going to be talking about losing streaks and how to measure improvement. But statistically wise, this is some of, like, winning wise, this is some of the worst stats I've ever had. My KDA is about where I'm always at. I'm always about like high 5s, low 6s. So like I'm still technically individually playing well, but I'm losing. I have a 40% win rate in my ranked games. So like, what's going on? And this is me being 100% honest with you guys. Like, I've basically made it to Diamond, crashed back down to Emerald 1, and I win a bunch of games and I lose a bunch of games. I win a bunch of games and I'm losing. And so what I realized is I've been incredibly frustrated because of the journey that I've been on. Okay? And I think what happens in Wild Rift is we get these moments where we don't understand the process. We jump on Wild Rift and we think, I'm going to climb today, I'm going to win, and I'm going to go up to the next rank and I'm going to improve. But the thing that we forget is ranking up is improving. It's graduating to a next level. You have to think about it kind of like a gym, okay? You would never go to the gym and then when you first start, think like, oh, okay, I'm going to lift 50 pounds today, and then tomorrow I'm going to make it to 100, and the next day I'm going to make it to 125, the next day I'm going to make it 150. You would never think that. But that's the mentality that players use when they're playing Wild Rift. That's the exact mentality that players use. They think like, today I'm going to win, today I'm going to grow a little bit more. Oh, one little setback, but I'm always growing a lot more. And that's not how like working out works. That's not how anything works. Like when you're working out, you're going to have days where you lift really well and days where you lift really bad. Or if you look from a sports perspective, you would never think, hey, I'm going to start shooting 3-pointers, and then after a couple weeks of doing it, I'm going to be shooting 3-pointers like Steph Curry. You would never think that, ever. Because you understand that it's a grind, it's a process that you have to build. It's muscle memory. You have to build. But for some reason in Wild Rift, we have this mindset of like, hey, I have to win right away. And a lot of that can come from places like we see our friends hitting high ranks. We're not hitting the high ranks. And we're like, oh, maybe I'm better than this person. Maybe I'm not better than this person. Or that's what it hurts even more. Like, oh, I'm better than this person and they're a higher rank than me now. And we forget the process. And this is where it comes back to measuring development and growth. Okay? So measuring development and growth. Like here's my all-time stats right here, okay? 5.3 KDA. So at the beginning of the when the game first came out, struggled a lot more, but I have been winning more the last 3 seasons, and I've actually been pulling all my stats up slowly. I'm getting my overall win rate up. Overall, I'm slowly improving as a player, and sometimes we forget about this process of slowly improving. Okay, these are realistic stats. Okay, from somebody who is Grandmaster over 41 points, Vanquisher 1. And most of the people I play with would say that I'm probably one of the best junglers they know or have played with. And I play with a lot of challengers, people who've been ranked, top ranked players as well in the game. And I'm definitely by far not the best jungler in the game by any means. But I'm just kind of giving you perspective, okay? Just giving you like a perspective. I play with a lot of top ranked players, people who have been ranked in the top 100, the top 200 of all players, and everything like that. People who are ranked in the top 1,000 of Legend Queue. And a lot of them say I'm one of the best junglers or the best jungler they've ever played with. But being that, these are still my lifetime stats. And these, right now, are my current season stats. How did I go from a 5.8 KDA last season, playing against challengers and grandmasters, to the new season, and I have a 40% win rate? Okay? So what I kind of noticed is I had all those defeats at the beginning of the season where I was real frustrated with myself, real angry, like, hey, I didn't hit the goals that I wanted to, and that translated into the next season. I was like evaluating some of my games, and in my games, I'm like getting really frustrated with myself. Like I'm doing things that I would never normally do. Like I'm seeing fights and I'm engaging in fights that I shouldn't be engaging in. I'm doubting myself when I shouldn't be doubting myself. I'm going into games thinking like, how do I not lose this game versus like, okay, how do I win this game? I'm not asking myself the appropriate questions. And what happens is if you're the type of player who tilts where it's easy to tell if you're tilting, you know, if you tilt at people because you're yelling, you're cursing at people, you're writing in chat, you suck, what are you doing? But if you're somebody who tilts at yourself, then you're usually tearing yourself down saying, how do I suck so bad? Why do I suck? Poor me because I'm bad. Like, oh, I threw this game. I can't believe I did that. But what you don't realize is happening, or you might be a person who just doesn't even do that. But what happens is when you start to lose, you start to get these little small mental blocks in your brain that they almost like predestine like what you feel is going to happen. Because once you start playing this game for a long time, you see something happen and then you get a predestined thought in your head of like, oh, this is going to happen. This always happens. And then your brain checks out. You kind of go into this autopilot mode, this cruise control mode, like, oh, the game's probably already over. We just lost the fire dragon. My bot lane just gave up 3 kills to a Draven in the first 5 minutes. There's nothing we can do, and we lost Dragon, and we lost the Rift. This game's impossible to win because we fed the early game champions. They already have good scaling. And your mind just immediately goes down this gigantic tube. So now you're checking out of the game. You're kind of just playing out, like, whatever, I'm just going to play this game. You're not focusing on, like, if you're a jungler, you're not focusing on your rotations. You're not focusing on your backing time. You're not focusing on what lanes are being pushed. If you're a laner, you're not focusing on your CS. You're not focusing on your trades. You're not focusing on maybe the way you're warding or leaning towards which side of the map. And all these things, they all pile up on top of each other. Because what basically happens You have the one little mistake, which leads to a bigger mistake, to a bigger mistake, and then it's the same thing. So then you go into the next game, you're like, whatever, this next thing's going to happen, something bad happens, and your brain slowly says, here it goes again, it's happening again, and you start to once again create those. And then after a while, you had 3 or 4 games in a row. Now your brain is automatically going into the game thinking we're going to lose before the game's even started. And because of that, your mind has already started to go into autopilot mode. You're not really focusing. You're not warding properly. You're not doing your trades properly. You're not last hitting properly. You're not rotating around the map. You're not helping at objectives soon enough. You're not playing the game with intensity. Okay? You're not playing the game. Because the thing that a lot of people have to realize, this game, in order to hit these higher ranks, you're playing against kids who are playing with high intensity. They want to win, and they're going to do whatever it takes to win. And if you're going into the game like, oh, whatever, we're going to lose, I'm not really focused, I'm not really paying attention, you're going to end up losing the game. And so how do you break out of this? How do you break out of this like mindset? Well, there's a couple things you can do. One, you can take a break, which everybody knows this, but so few people actually listen to this. You can take a break. Break away from the game for a little bit and relax. Go for a walk. Do some push-ups. Go play with your dog if you have a dog, your cat if you got a cat. Read a book. Play a different game. Go play some normals. Go play ARAM. Another thing that's, a really good thing to do, if you don't want to stop playing, go into normals and just pick a random champ that you want to play. Like for me, I have realized this, hey, I've been tilted, but you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go play some Yone. Because I really like Yone. I think he's a super fun champion. He doesn't actually play, in the roles I like, but to me, he's one of the coolest champions in the game. So today, I'm not going to play any ranked. I'm just going to play some normal games and play some Yone and mess around and have some drinks with my friends in my Discord. And we're just going to mess around and have fun. And if we do troll comps and PvP, who cares? Because it's PvP. And you're going back to having fun. Because as long as your brain is set in this angry state, because the other thing that happens is, like I said, you're so focused on climbing, you're measuring your success and how good of a player you are by what rank you are, which is so horrible. I used to think that, and I used to also think that how good of a player I am was based on win rate, and how good of a player I am was based on, my rank. And it's not. There are professional players, even in League of Legends, who have low win rates and who also go on losing streaks, but they're still some of the best players in the world because it's a team game. You have to realize it's a team game. You're going to have, losing sprees. Everybody has them. But good ways to break out of it, like I said, go do something else. Don't play the game. If you want to play the game, you can't handle not playing the game because maybe you're addicted to the game, or maybe you just enjoy the game and you want to play a normal, okay? Because all that's going to happen if you keep playing is you're going to do exactly this right here. You know it and I know it. You're going to do this losing spree. You're going to do this losing spree. And then you're going to have little games like this right in between where you absolutely go off and you go to your true skill again because you focus and you start playing really well. The other thing that you can do is kind of like we see right here. I kind of went off my normal thing. I love playing ADC. I rarely ever play it, but I love playing ADC and I love playing Tristana. So I went off and changing your mindset, playing a different role. This is one of the benefits, actually, just 2 little examples in here, of actually playing a different role. By playing a different role, sometimes just changing your mindset, what you normally do, kind of gives you a reset. So that way you can kind of refocus, reestablish your brain. I think it's sometimes better to do it by disengaging from the game completely or just playing a PvP, something that doesn't matter. Because if you're not having fun, the truth of the matter is you're not going to play well. Like this game right here, I mean, we were losing so bad basically at the end of the game. I was like, whatever, I just back sold my items and bought some troll items because our team just fed so hard. And the other truth of the matter is, once you start losing a lot, the game's going to think, because of the way MMR works, that you don't deserve to be in the rank that you're in. So it's going to give you worse teammates, and then it's going to bring you down more and more. Because the game's basically saying, like, okay, you're not winning games you should win, so now you have to prove that you deserve to be in this rank by carrying even worse players. It's just the way the game works, you know, and you have to also come to understanding with that. So let's talk a little bit then about like measuring improvement. So some of the things that I've also been focusing on has been like, okay, how am I measuring my improvement during this time, even though I've been really tilted? So I've been looking at these games, and I feel like a lot of the games that I've been playing, you know, I've started off pretty well. I feel like a lot of the games I've been playing as well, just kind of like, once again, going back into here, a lot of these games, I actually didn't start off bad. I started off well. I started off playing well. And then, you know, I had teammates who maybe didn't play so well, or I made little mistakes that caused my team to lose, or as a group. That's the other thing. Like, you have to take maximum responsibility, you know? By taking that maximum responsibility, because here's the thing. If you're just getting mad all the time that you're losing, and all you're saying is like, oh, I can't win because my teammate fed the Draven, or my teammate fed the Katarina, you're never going to be able to stop that from happening. It's impossible. And all you're going to do is drive yourself crazy, make yourself more angry, make yourself more tilted, and you're not going to be able to focus on what you need to do to improve, actually. The best way to improve at this game, realizing that League of Legends is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. When you have bad games like this, you need to focus on what you can do. So like for me, for example, this game right here and this game right here, what I realized from those two games is I'm playing to, these two games made me realize I'm playing to not lose. I'm not playing to win. I'm not playing with intensity. I'm not being aggressive. These games right here, what they taught me is, hey, I'm playing tilted and angry and defeated. This game right here was me playing angry and tilted, but sometimes we all have those games where when we're angry, we're so angry we actually just play good. This was like one of those games. This game right here was me getting angry because I got stuck in support, and then we ended up losing. And this game was me getting my role again. I was like, okay, now I'm going to carry. Okay? And then this game was me once again getting the role that I wanted, playing well, but unfortunately my team just played so bad, which then put me even more tilted. It's like, wow, even now that I'm on a roll that I'm playing well, and then I just went into another tilt spree once again. After thinking, I finally got out of this tilt spree, I just got to play ADC and we're going to win games. We all have that happen to us. So what am I learning here? How am I learning my improvements? Well, one thing I'm learning is, okay, I have to realize that I need to have fun in the game. I need to take breaks in the game. That's a measure of learning to improve. The other thing is like, okay, I'm playing ADC really well. Maybe I should run around. Maybe I should run with this and practice my ADC a little bit. If it's not something I want to do and I want to stay in the lane I am, it was just something that was for fun, that's fine. But you need to look in the game and find out, what are you struggling with? Like, what am I doing wrong? And try to correct those things. That's what you really need to focus on. Because League of Legends is all about consistency. The more consistent of a player you are, the bigger chance you have of winning the game. Okay? If you're constantly being inconsistent, and because that's what happens when you get tilted and rage, you start to get really inconsistent things. Like, so you need to focus, like, am I consistently getting my last hits? Am I consistently getting good trades in? Am I consistently clearing my jungle camps at the right time? Am I consistently rotating to the objectives that I need to? Am I consistently pushing lanes when I should be pushing lanes? Am I doing the little things that equal to wins? The small things that equal to wins is what you have to ask yourself, okay? Because the truth of the matter, like, when it comes to like getting better at the game and like improving, it kind of works like this. It's kind of like a bell curve as you have it, okay? So let's say you are a Diamond 4 player. So your skill level is Diamond 4. That's the rank you made it to, so you're dead center in the middle of this bell curve, right at the top, you're Diamond 4. Okay, but then you also have a curve to the right-hand side and a curve to the left-hand side, to the bottom. Well, your overall skill level may be Diamond 4, but you as a total player are not a Diamond 4 player. And this is something you have to realize. Like, a lot of players that also helps, that kind of gets them into these losing streaks, is they think, I deserve to be a higher rank. And the moment you can realize and admit to yourself, you do not deserve to be the higher rank, and if you did, you would be the higher rank. And because the thing is, the same players that are higher the ranks, they're having to carry the same players that you're having to carry. They're matching up against the same players that you are. So what's happening is, and what's causing those players to get higher ranks is, so your overall play is this Diamond 4 right here in the middle. But on the left-hand side, I'm just going to make something up. Let's say you are a jungler, okay? And I'm going to use jungle because that's the lane that maybe I know the best. But on the left-hand side, further down you go, there's different percentages. Maybe your ganking ability is really only a Emerald 4. Maybe you're only an Emerald 4 ganker. You may be Diamond 4 altogether, but your ganking skills are Emerald 4. Or maybe your smiting is really like Platinum 1 or Platinum 3. You're not really good at smiting. But what you are really good at, is you're really good at rotating around the map. You're really good at jungle clears. You're really good at team fights and everything. So maybe your team fight as a jungler is like Diamond 1. And maybe you're rotating around the map and showing pressure is like Diamond 3 or Diamond 2. And then every now and then, when you're on this bell curve, you're going to have games where you come to the bottom right-hand side of the bell curve and you're a Diamond 4 player and you're playing like a Grandmaster or a Master or a Challenger player every game every now and then. Or you're going to have games where you slide back to the left-hand side and you're a Diamond 4 player, but now you're playing like you're Emerald 4. And the reason why that happens is you have habits on each side that you're still working on, and then they grow. So, for example, for me, okay, I'm Grandmaster, high-level Grandmaster. And that's the other thing people have to realize. In the same way that there's, Diamond 1 or Diamond 4, 3, 2, and 1, even though it's just Master, Grandmaster, Challenger, there's low Master, high Master, low Grandmaster, high Challenger, low Challenger, high Challenger as well. There's different tiers of those as well. So I'm in the high tier of Grandmaster. I'm not saying that to toot my horn. It's just statistic. That's actually where I am. Point-wise, I'm technically in the high tier Grandmaster. So that's where I am overall. But, if I'm not playing well, like let's say I'm having probably like my worst game, my probably worst game is probably realistically somewhere around like a low Master to Diamond 1 player. Like if I'm having my worst game, it's probably like low Master. Maybe Diamond 1 if I'm having like the worst game of my life. If I'm having the best game if I'm having really good games, I'm playing like, pro level basically. I'm playing like a professional player. I'm playing like top, 10, top 50 players in the game. But I fluctuate from side to side, and this is and what happens is a lot of players, what they do is they see those moments of greatness and say, oh, this is who I am, but not realizing that this is just moments of things working out and project out. What you really are is accumulation of what you are on the left-hand side and who you are in the middle. That's what you really are, because the right-hand side is just sort of like the things that they all correct. And so how do you move this bell curve over? So like if you're Diamond 4, how do I move this to where my middle is now, instead of a Diamond 4, it's now Masters? Well, the way you do that, it isn't necessarily by increasing the right-hand side, because if you're just trying to like learn new things all the time to improve, you're actually going to get worse at the game. Because what's going to happen is all your mental focus is going to go to learning these new things on the right-hand side of this bell curve, and then it's going to cause you to forget the things you already struggle with on the left-hand side and it's going to make your drop even steeper, and it's going to make your middle even narrower. You need, in order to improve, you need to find the things that you naturally struggle with, improve on those, make your left-hand side, raise it higher so it's not as intense of a drop. And by doing that, you'll naturally move the bell curve over to the right to increase your average rank. That's how you actually measure improvement. That's how you actually grow at the game. Once you start looking at that and saying, like, what do I struggle with? What am I not doing well? That's how you're going to improve. Because once you do that, what will happen is you're going to do exactly what you see with here. Like, you're going to hit Grandmaster, you're going to hit Master, you're going to hit Challenger, and you're going to grow as a player. You're going to start having high KDAs and things like that. Like, for me, what I realize, okay, if I'm being like 100% honest with myself, as a jungle main, I ask myself, okay, what do I struggle with? Okay, what do I struggle with? So, like, I feel like sometimes I struggle with smiting. And so, like, I put a lot of my focus in, like, okay, how can I be a better, some of my friends wouldn't agree with me, but if I look at myself, I feel like I struggle with smiting. I feel like I should be a way better smiter than I am. Okay? So I ask myself, how can I improve at my smiting? How can I think it? And like things that I do to help me to improve at smiting is when the game, or when I'm going to smite, and if you're a jungler, this can help you, I say to myself over and over again what my smite damage is. So like 680, 680, 680, 680. I know that's my smite damage. I'm just saying it and getting ready. I'm paying attention to where that button is so I can put my finger on it and hit it as soon as it says 680. I'm saying 680 to myself. I'm looking at the dragon's health, and as soon as it gets close, I'm immediately just trying to hit it. And that helps me improve because a lot of kids are better smiters than me. Like if I had to give my smiting a rank, yeah, I might be high Grandmaster, but like I would probably put my smiting at like low Masters to maybe high Master, mid-master, probably mid-master for my smiting ability, because I think my smiting has a lot of improvement. Okay? And so what will also happen, so like what happens if you do these things that I'm talking about? Like you work on this bell curve, what will happen is you will start to make slow progress. Okay? You'll make slow progress and your win rate will slowly start to climb. Okay? It'll slowly start to climb. But what will also happen, and sometimes a lot of people don't realize this, a lot of times when people start to try and improve on things, they'll see themselves actually do worse at first. And that's normal. Think about it this way, okay? Like, let's say you were playing football. Let's say you're a quarterback and you're playing football. If you're not a quarterback or not used to sports, sorry. And you've been throwing a ball a certain way your whole life. Josh Allen's a great example of you. Like, Josh Allen, they say, was throwing the ball wrong like his whole career. And then when he got his quarterback coach, who's now with the Giants, which is kind of crazy how the Giants are starting to do better. Not their quarterback's starting to do better after they get a quarterback coach. He taught Josh Allen how he was supposed to throw the ball. And Josh Allen since then has greatly increased. But he first, after doing that, started actually playing worse. But after he corrected those habits, bad habits, and worked on them over time, he became a better quarterback. And now he's considered one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So not despising the days of small beginnings and slow starts, understanding that Wild Rift is a marathon. It's not something that you can just jump in and immediately rank up. And the truth of the matter is a lot of your friends who have those gigantic win sprees, like I had one, one of my friends, he got to, I think it was Master, I think he said it was either Diamond 1 or Master in like the first week of the new season. And like just today, he was posting about how he went from Masters or Diamond 1, almost Masters, and now he's all the way back to like almost Diamond 4. He's like Diamond 3 because he went on such a huge losing spree. Okay? And a lot of times, sometimes, not always, sometimes those kids just got on one of the winning sprees. In the same way you get these losing sprees right here, you're going to have times, and we all know it, where you get those massive winning sprees. You're just like, the algorithm's working in your favor. You're winning. You're getting good teammates. You're feeling good about yourself. Your mental game's probably good. Your intensity's probably really good. You're focusing. Like, all those things are in place. Like, if you're starting a game thinking, I want to climb today, but you're in a really bad mood, or your personal life is going, like, to shit, or whatever, and you have all these negative things happen, you're under a ton of stress, you got school going on, this test that you're really worried about, you and your boyfriend or you and your girlfriend are fighting, maybe you're not in the mental space right away to jump into rank. Maybe do something to uplift your mood a little bit, have a little fun, do something that you find fun. And what if you're sitting there saying, well, ranked is what I find fun, well, then you may need to try and focus on like not caring so much about winning. Because when you care about winning and you don't win, all you're doing is you're creating a negative aspect for yourself in order that's going to create a more negative spiral. And you can say, well, I don't know how to not care about winning. You have to change your mindset of what success is. Success isn't this. This is not success. You have to change your mindset. This is not success. This is not success. What success is like this game. I realize what I'm doing wrong. I realize what I'm doing wrong. This game, I realize what I'm doing wrong. I'm not playing with intensity. I'm not focusing. I'm not clearing my waves properly. That is success. That's winning. Because the little decisions are what cause you to be more effective in games and win. It's the same thing as like the game starts, you miss maybe the first wave. In your mind, you know, hey, I'm now at a big disadvantage because I missed that first wave. Okay? That's a small lose that, you know, cause you to now be at a disadvantage, because when you both go back to buy, he's going to have more items than you're going to have, and he's going to have more gold than you, so which makes them stronger than you. Okay? That's a small lose that then when you have that fight with each other, that all-out fight, you lose by, you know, he walks away with like 10 HP and you die. But if you just didn't miss those minions at the beginning of the game, you would have had just as much gold, more gold than him, and he would have died and you would have lived. You got to think about it in that retrospect. That's a loss. You're losing because of those small things. Now, if you learn to correct those things and improve on those things, like I'm talking about here, I'm realizing I'm losing these games, I'm playing bad because I'm not playing with intensity that I need to. You know, and like realistically, like, I mean, I didn't really feed these games right here. Like my deaths were, like 3 of my deaths were in correlation of trying to help my team secure objectives. But really we didn't need to be at those objectives. But changing your mindset of what's actually a win, what's actually an improvement. Like this, I don't consider this winning me my game I win. What it helped me realize is I'm not having fun and I'm getting angry and I need to change my mindset. That's my win. That's the thing that I'm doing. And so now, like I said, I'm going to play some games to chill my mindset out so that way I play more effective. And I know in the long run, this is going to make me a better, more effective player. Okay? So try and think about it that way, guys. I think it'll really help you. Think about this bell curve that I was talking about, you know? Stop trying to learn all these new things, these high intensity things. They're not going to improve you. Go back to the basics. Improve your basics, because by doing that, you're going to raise the left-hand side of your bell curve more, and what eventually will happen is it'll get top heavy, and it'll automatically basically tidal wave over to the other side. It'll settle out and create a new bell curve, and instead of you being stuck at diamond 4, now maybe you're stuck at diamond 2, now maybe you're stuck at diamond 1, but you're making progress. Stop thinking about it as I have to climb immediately. You know, the slow grind is technically the better way, because the thing is, you're going to learn more, you're going to improve more, you're going to see more situations. You're not necessarily getting better right off the bat like that. Like even me, like when I first started this game, you know, I started Diamond 1, then went up to Masters, then went up to Grandmasters, and now working on trying to hit Challenger, you know? And you got to keep your mindset just like that. You know, first season I started Vanquisher 1. This season I'm hoping that I'll end somewhere in Immortal or Legend. And this season I'm hoping to end in Challenger. We'll see. I'm a little bit behind, but that's kind of where my mindset, that's where I'm going. Anyways, guys, I hope this video helped you. Like I said, this is just me trying to be super honest and transparent. You know, I'm showing you my games. I'm showing you my history. Even good players have this happen to them. It's not just you, okay? And maybe you're watching this video and you don't think I'm good. That's fine. Statistically, I am good. I said I've been ranked in the top 1%. I can play all roles at a GM level, and I've hit Vanquisher 1, almost Immortal as well, just 2 games away. So I feel like I'm a pretty decent player, and I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of the game. So I hope you guys will take my advice, learn from these mistakes I'm talking about, and they'll help you improve. Anyways, guys, peace out.